When I've let the water freeze completely, it becomes very cloudy, whereas the stage that I'm freezing it is very, very clear like a crystal, and we're seeing very unique patterns because the water is able to receive information and share it in this very, very unique and special stage. And I think the fourth phase of water is quite a revolutionary concept that needs to be taught in schools.
The people who see that are enormously impressed because this is almost unbelievable. But in the case of Veda Austin, I know that she's been able to demonstrate that her results are reproducible, and reproducibility is absolutely essential for any scientific study. So it's possible that the kinds of hydroglyphs and before that Emoto images, they're at the frontier, and they may indicate, they may be indicating something that is true and needs to be explained and will be explained in the future, despite the fact that many scientists are skeptical.
When it comes to water and quantum physics, there is this intimacy, this intertwinement that really can't be overlooked, because wherever there is life, there is water. So one of the things that I've been very interested in is when conventional science says that water cannot have memory because it's updating its information every trillionth of a second. So how could it be even a little bit interested in conscious expression or some kind of relationship?
To get to the truth, you can't deny observations, meaningful observations. It's the job of scientists to take these observations into account in what they do, not to dismiss them as, well, you know, it doesn't fit into today's paradigm, therefore it must be wrong. And that's not the way to go.
I've been doing this work for 10 years now, and there were 3 people who inspired me to begin, and it's all rather organic how it happened. The first person, of course, Masurus Emotos, his work was very visual, and there's this saying that a picture speaks 1,000 words, and certainly with my work, water has a lot to say. There's a lot of depth in what I've observed in water as it's beginning to freeze but before it's frozen. So the stage that I freeze my water at is what I call the stage of creation. It's very short-term freezing, so there is liquid on top and ice underneath. When it's at that stage, I tip the liquid away and I photograph the remaining ice.
There must be some kind of information storage in the water, memory of the water. And to imagine that it could be ordinary liquid water, it's almost inconceivable, because in liquid water, the molecules of water are randomly oriented and moving around, jittering around at a fierce number of times per second. How can that store information?
But Dr. Jerry Pollack inspired me, because when I started to learn more about this fourth phase of water, that's what changed my way of freezing. In the very, very early stages, I froze water solid. But when I started learning about this in-between stage, because the fourth phase is also in between a liquid and a solid, and in between a solid and a liquid, that's when I started to open the freezer earlier and earlier to see when water was really starting to freeze. And that's where I discovered that there is a liquid crystal stage, and I think that what we're seeing in my work is the fourth phase of water.